This is the German kid's $2 billion car collection that stunned Baron Trump. A confirmed arsenal packed with hypercars, Rolls-Royces, Ferraris, and private fleet-level luxury, tracked through auction records, factory allocations, and private registry valuations that push the total past $2 billion. Stick around as we reveal the masterpieces and the moment that turned a private garage into a global headline. The numbers are real, the scale unmatched. Starting with the heir, whose car collection defines pure elegance, an assembly of machines where every curve whispers refinement and every engine speaks of quiet power. A collection less about noise and more about legacy. Katharina von Baumbach, age 34, net worth $5.8 billion. Katharina von Baumbach doesn't just collect cars, she curates them with the precision of a sovereign. Her garage is not a garage. It is a climate-controlled museum of power, legacy, and quiet dominance. Each vehicle a whisper of untouchable wealth. Her family name is already legendary. As the heiress to the Boehringer Ingelheim pharmaceutical empire, Katharina commands influence that stretches far beyond Germany. But she doesn't flaunt that power. She engineers it into everything she touches. And nowhere is that more evident than in her automotive collection, a private fleet so rare it has been studied by insurance brokers, museum curators, and even security analysts. Beneath her 16th century castle in Bavaria lies the main vault. Accessible only through a biometric scanner coded to her voice and retina, the chamber holds over 80 cars. They are not chosen for flash, but for their history, their rarity, and the narratives they carry. The floor beneath them is polished marble, the walls are soundproofed, and every car rests within laser-projected boundaries, ensuring that no door ever swings too wide. Her most prized machine is a 1963 Ferrari 250 GTO, one of just 36 in existence. But Katharina's is not just any model. Once owned by a European royal who fled during a revolution, it disappeared for decades before resurfacing in a discreet auction. Katharina paid $70 million for it. She never drives it. It sits sealed behind UV-protected glass, preserved like a crown jewel of automotive history. Next to it is a one-of-one Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta, its carbon fiber body painted in the blue hues of her family crest. Inside, the stitching replicates a Renaissance fresco from the west wing of her estate. Pagani himself oversaw its delivery, but Katharina's obsession runs deeper than rarity. She hunts provenance. Among her fleet is a Rolls-Royce Phantom 4, originally commissioned for Queen Elizabeth II. Acquiring it required months of negotiations, spanning 4 countries and demanding diplomatic approval before the deal was sealed. Another treasure. The only Bugatti La Voiture Noire in Europe with bulletproof retrofitting. Not because she expects danger, but because, as her head of security once remarked, Katharina plans for the unthinkable before it ever becomes a threat. Her collection is treated like an archive. Each car is accompanied by a leather-bound dossier containing restoration history, interviews with past owners, and archival photographs. An in-house archivist updates these files monthly. Once a year, Katharina hosts a private automotive symposium on her estate, inviting 50 historians, engineers, and designers. Attendance requires background checks, signed non-disclosure agreements, and often an invitation from someone already inside the circle. Guests receive encrypted tablets with access to a digital index of the collection. Cameras and phones are forbidden. The vault itself is a feat of engineering. Its climate is maintained by an AI-driven system designed by a team she recruited from a Formula One R&D lab. Temperature, humidity, and air purity are monitored at all times. The vault has its own underground power grid, complete with 3 fuel cell generators and a military-grade battery reserve. Power outages are impossible. When Katharina does drive, she does not pull from the vault. She chooses instead from her secondary fleet. Custom-built Mercedes Maybachs, Range Rover SVs, and her personal favorite, a Porsche Taycan Turbo S-Cross Turismo, painted in a bespoke shade called Phantom Ice, created just for her. Even the keys to these cars are custom-forged, solid gold, embedded with fingerprint sensors. Her security is surgical. Every movement of every car is logged in a control center, modeled after a Formula One pit wall. Drivers train quarterly with former special forces. The roads to her castle are lined with retractable bollards, surveillance towers, and thermal imaging sensors. And when someone once attempted to follow her convoy, they never made it close. Traffic was silently rerouted through a fake construction zone. The police weren't involved, they didn't need to be. Even insurance bends to Katharina's will. Her collection is not covered by any traditional provider. Instead, it is self-insured through a private trust managed by actuaries and security consultants. If a car is damaged, the fund pays. If one is stolen, recovery operations begin within 15 minutes. For Katharina von Baumbach, car collecting is not about acceleration. It is about ascension. Each machine is a monument. Each engine is a legacy. Each VIN, a myth. So when Baron Trump was given a glimpse of her collection during a private diplomatic event in Bavaria, he didn't post photos. He didn't make a statement. He simply walked away, shaking his head, and whispered, "That's not a garage. That's a throne room." Elegance defines her world, curated, calculated, and untouchable. But wealth doesn't always manifest in silence. In this family, power takes many forms. If Katharina is the sovereign of refinement, the next heir is something very different, a force where precision gives way to raw ambition. Franz von Baumbach, age 32, net worth $8.7 billion. At just 32 years old, Franz von Baumbach stands as one of Germany's wealthiest individuals with a staggering net worth of $8.7 billion. The eldest son of the von Baumbach empire lives a life most people only see in movies. Franz owns homes in 7 countries. His main residence, a 15-bedroom mansion on Lake Starnberg near Munich, sits on 20 acres of private land. It includes 3 swimming pools, its own forest, a helicopter pad, and a private beach. Beyond that, his properties stretch across the globe: a Manhattan penthouse overlooking Central Park, a beach villa in Saint-Tropez, and a mountain retreat in the Swiss Alps. Each home is maintained as if it were the center of his universe. But his most defining indulgence? Cars. In a climate-controlled garage rest treasures of modern engineering and timeless heritage. A $3 million Bugatti Chiron, a custom Rolls-Royce Phantom, and a Ferrari collection valued at over $15 million. Franz reportedly spends more than $500,000 every year just maintaining the fleet, because for him, perfection must be preserved. Yet his appetite for luxury doesn't stop at the road. For the skies, Franz commands a Gulfstream G650 private jet worth $65 million, his flying office, lounge, and home. On water, he sails aboard the Golden Swan, a 270-foot superyacht staffed by 24 crew. Complete with a gym, cinema, 2 hot tubs, and even a mini-submarine, the yacht costs nearly $3 million a year to operate. For Franz, it's not transport, it's a floating kingdom. His spending is legendary. In Monaco, a single weekend at a nightclub saw him spend $2.4 million buying champagne for every guest. For Franz von Baumbach, wealth is not just measured in billions, it is measured in reach, across continents, across industries, across culture itself. His cars are engines of prestige. His homes are monuments to his dominance. His name turns whispers into headlines. Where Katharina represents elegance, Franz embodies power lived out loud. He does not retreat from the spotlight. He bends it to his will. Franz von Baumbach lives in the spotlight, loud, commanding, impossible to ignore. But every dynasty has its contrast. And in this story, contrast means youth. If Franz embodies power lived out loud, the next on our list is his younger brother. He takes wealth in a very different direction. Because where Franz travels in luxury, his brother transforms it into power. Johannes von Baumbach, age 17, net worth $3.2 billion. At just 17 years old, Johannes von Baumbach already stands among the world's youngest billionaires. With a fortune of more than $3.2 billion, his life is measured not in years, but in privileges most never touch. His car collection is his playground. Inside his Bavarian estate, a 20-car garage glitters with machines that are equal parts heritage and horsepower. A Lamborghini Sian FKP 37, one of only 63 in existence, finished in deep emerald with gold accents. A Rimac Nevera, the all-electric rocket capable of shattering records with its instant acceleration. A custom Porsche 918 Spider in midnight black, stitched with his initials, alongside a Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, an icon from the past, valued at nearly $2 million. Add to that a Ferrari collection worth over $15 million, and Johannes's garage rivals some of the world's best-known museums. But Johannes does not only collect, he lives in motion. His Gulfstream G650 jet, valued at $65 million, is fitted with gold-plated fixtures, leather suites, and a private bedroom. It carries him to Monaco for weekend escapes, Paris for shopping sprees, or the Alps for ski trips. He moves across Europe as casually as most teens move across town. On water, his family's 300-foot super yacht becomes a floating palace. One morning, photo of him eating breakfast on deck drew more than 500,000 likes online. His lifestyle amplifies the same scale as his cars and travels. Over 300 pairs of rare sneakers line his closets, each costing up to $30,000. His watch collection alone is worth more than $4.5 million, highlighted by a diamond-encrusted Rolex gifted for his 16th birthday. And for his 18th birthday, a $2 million party is being prepared, complete with top-chart musicians, set on the family's private Mediterranean island. Yet behind the spectacle, Johannes still walks the halls of an exclusive Swiss private school, where tuition tops $100,000 a year. He arrives each day in a bulletproof Mercedes, shadowed by a full security detail. For Johannes von Baumbach, cars and travel are not indulgences. They are symbols of a youth lived on an entirely different scale. A garage worth tens of millions, a jet worth $65 million, a yacht that dwarfs city blocks, and a life that at 17 already bends the world around him. From Katharina's elegance to Franz's dominance to Johannes's youth, the heirs of the von Baumbach family reveal three different faces of the same empire. Together, they've built not just collections, but a legacy written in horsepower, heritage, and sheer scale. This is the German kid's $2 billion car collection, the one so extraordinary it even stunned Baron Trump. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the world's most exclusive car collections, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more stories of unimaginable wealth, and let us know in the comments, which of these machines would you choose if money was no object?